John is stuck in California, but thankfully we got a guest today. Reddit on Wiki starts now.
Get therapy.
What's up, Wikimaniacs? Welcome back to another Am I the Asshole Friday. I'm your host, Josh. Joined with me, as usual, my boy, Sean. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, hi. Who cares?
And like I said, John's stuck in California. His flight got canceled. But thankfully, we have a special guest today. He is the host of Reading Wild Reddit Stories with Sarby himself. What's going on, buddy?
What's up? Thanks for having me, you guys. I appreciate it.
Of course. I will say, just before we get into some stuff, hitting all the SEO with that title of your podcast. That is that is so smart. We did not think that.
Quite the opposite of ours.
Yeah. I actually am thinking about changing it to just Sarby.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's only called that on Spotify because I knew Spotify was very heavily SEO based when I started it, and now that I'm kind of rolling, I don't think I need that anymore. But
fair, you got the audience. You don't need that. You can just ride on the wave of your success.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Now I did mention you are a special guest today, and that is because we have a huge thank you to give to you because you helped. I don't want to say weaponize because that sounds negative, but you helped use your audience to help us get rid of the toxic YouTube channel that was plaguing us for over a year, I think, at that point. So we appreciate you and your audience for helping us out with that.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, like, if that was me, I would really appreciate it if, like, you know, I'm a what's the phrase? All tides rise ships or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
I understand what's
yeah. I butchered that, but you know, I saw that happen to you guys. It's funny because their clips came up on my YouTube Shorts one time, and I was like, this seems weird because, like, I know about your guys' podcast. I've seen it, and I was like, okay, maybe they have like a clipper that they have a deal with, and then I saw your guys' Instagram post, and I was just like, oh, I can help with this. So,
and we appreciate that.
Yeah, seriously, anytime.
Yeah, that was all. Same goes to you. We will also weaponize our audience, as I'm now going to call it, to help out anyone else that has clipping problems like that. So we appreciate you, and we're super excited to have you on the show.
Yeah, super excited to be here. Thank you.
All right, let's hop into the first story here. I've got quite a few to go through. This first one posted by Project Enough 7501 on AITAH. Title is, Am I the Asshole for Not Giving My Business Class Seat to My Wife on Our International Flight?
It sure seems like you should have bought her also a first class ticket, right?
Yeah, I mean, unless
seems like a wild take.
Unless he got like randomly upgraded or something. But even then, it's kind of like, you know, be the gentleman, you know?
Yeah, right?
I know we want equality on stuff, but come on, man, that's your wife.
Yeah, offer it up.
Spoil her.
Yeah, I can't imagine unless he's like 7 foot tall and he's like, I will be super uncomfortable. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be hard to find a good reason not to give it to your partner.
It's funny that we're doing this without John because this is something John would do to any of us, but
but he would give it to his wife.
He would give it to his wife. Yes.
But if it was the three of us on a flight, he'd be like, I'm so sorry, y'all are poor.
Hey, it's different if it's your friends. It's your wife.
It's
so.
True. That's a different story.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, probably all three of us would have given it to the homie if all three of us were traveling, we'd be like, damn, man, that's crazy.
Yeah. See ya. Gonna go for that extra leg room.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So my wife, 32 female, and I, 34 male, recently took an international trip to visit her family. We travel a lot for work and have built up a lot of frequent flyer miles and airline status. When we booked the tickets, we both got economy seats since that's what fit our budget. 2 weeks before the flight, my wife and I were sent an email from the airline telling us we were eligible for an upgrade using our miles. So you nailed the upgrade part there, Sarpy. I informed my wife about this and asked her if it was okay to upgrade our tickets. She said that was fine and to go ahead and upgrade my ticket. Because we have separate accounts with the airline, she would have to upgrade her own tickets and I would have to upgrade mine separately. I offered to log into her account and upgrade her ticket when I upgraded mine, but she said she would do it on her own. The week leading up to the flight, I had been reminding her to upgrade her ticket, but when the time came to go to the airport, she had not upgraded her ticket yet. When we got to the airport, I offered to switch tickets with her, but she declined. I went to business class check-in while she went to the economy one. She seemed too distracted with checking in to be bothered with a ticket situation. But when we boarded the plane and I was heading towards business class, she was confused and asked me why I had not downgraded my ticket in order to sit with her. I explained to her.
Oh, no.
I explained to her that I was not aware that she wanted me to sit with her, and she turned away and stormed off to her seat. When we landed, she was snippy with me and made an effort not to talk with me. The whole trip, she made little comments about my ticket and refused to talk about it when I asked to. I sat next to her on the flight back and she didn't say anything about it and seemed to be less aggravated. Now we're back and she keeps bringing it up in passive-aggressive ways, saying things like, "It must have been nice to have all that extra legroom while your wife was cramped in the back." I brought this up with some friends. Some think I was in the right, but others think I should have given up my ticket. So am I the asshole for not giving up my seat?
Oh, man. Just so many opportunities. Look, I don't think you could have given any more opportunity for her to get in there until the very last second where you sat in the seat.
Yeah.
Because it's like you reminded her a lot. Yeah.
You
Even when you got there, you were like, we could switch tickets. Like, you haven't done it yet. And she's like, no, don't worry about it. Literally, it's not until y'all were sitting down where she like, wait, what's going on?
What the fuck?
I feel like it might be on her a little bit. The reminders, the offering to do it yourself in her account, switching tickets at the airport. I mean, you at the end of the day, you still could have been like, yeah, just take my seat. I'll go in the back or whatever. Also, I mean, it's hard to say. I feel like me personally, I probably would have anyways, just given her my seat. And then, I don't know. But I don't blame anybody for not giving their seat.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. It sure seems like you went through a lot of trouble to try and get that ticket changed. And she just didn't follow through on it. I don't know.
What are your thoughts, RB?
I think my head is going to the point of the communication that she wasn't okay with it. Because it was while they were already on the plane boarded and she was like, oh, you didn't read my mind and downgrade your ticket.
Yeah,
I think that's the point of like everything. Because I just can't imagine, like, I'm thinking about boarding a plane and getting hit with like something that you should really like sit down and talk about. But like, you guys have boarded planes. Like, it is not.
It's so stressful.
It's chaotic. There's so much pressure to like keep it moving because if you're holding it up, everyone's looking at you and judging you. Like, yeah, it's funny. I don't know. I think when you're traveling with somebody, especially like your wife or your partner, I do think there almost has to be this like team aspect to it.
Yeah.
You know, like in any marriage, like there's going to be team aspects. So I do think there was a little bit, as much as like I would think the wife is more wrong here. I think maybe there's a lot that OP could have done to at least mitigate it. And this is his wife, right? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
You should probably know, maybe like, hey, my wife's not the best at like, and who knows, maybe it's a brand new marriage or this is their first time traveling. But I'm just thinking like, you know, when you're traveling with someone, it's kind of on both of you guys to be on the same page a little bit. So I almost want to go with everyone sucks here, but I always kind of like, whenever I give an everyone sucks here verdict, I always kind of like teeter which one is the more, the less. I definitely think the wife sucks more here.
Oh, yeah.
And the husband only sucks just because I feel like there are little things you can, there are little things you can do there.
Yeah.
But I feel like he did the little, like, he was like, I will log in for you and do it. And
I will literally upgrade your ticket for you.
I'll do it. I'll do it later.
Yeah.
And then days before, like, hey, make sure you do that. I do wonder, like, when you check in, like, especially if you do a mobile, you kind of get your seat number kind of immediately. So I feel like
pretty early. Yeah.
Neither of them were like, here's another reminder. I'm in business class. You are not. We're not sitting next to each other. I feel like what you're saying, communication, I feel like at that point, for sure, they would have been like, all right, we know the plan. We all understand what's going on. Because, I feel like just because I know if roles are reversed, we would be chopping on this man.
True. That's true. That's a good point.
If it was a wife that was like, I'm begging you, please sign in and
I'm definitely leading not the asshole for me.
We would fucking rip this dude to shreds.
That's good. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
So it's just like, Man, I feel like he did everything he could. I think even in the final second, though, I probably would give up my seat just because it's like, all right, let's not start off the vacation on a weird foot. But that's just me personally. I feel you know, I am not mad at this guy for just being like, I don't know what else I could have done for you.
And the other thing I'll add is like, he already mentioned like in the second sentence is like, we travel a lot. This is something they do frequently.
Oh, true. Yeah.
It's like there's very little excuse for her to be like, yeah, I just forgot or didn't do it or whatever. Like,
true.
Like you travel for work a lot. This is something you should be aware about, like time frame wise.
But like what Sarby said though, knowing the fact that they travel a lot, he should have just been like, not asked. He should have just been like, hey, I'm going to log into your account because we travel a lot. This happens. This is not the first time.
Yeah, I think too. I think an important thing to point out, as much as like if you're in the same case, you're going to give up your seat. She was very resistant to any solution that OP was bringing up because he did offer the seat. Like the one in my head is like, okay, like can you split up half and half? Like half the flight you're in business class,
seats? Yeah,
half the flight she is. But like, I don't think she was open to any solution at that point. Yeah, I think she was pretty closed off on it. So
and like you said earlier, it's like the communication part is where it hinges for me. It's just like, oh well, she didn't even like in the very last moments be like, oh, would you mind downgrading to like sit beside me?
Yeah.
It's like that's where it hinges for me. It's just like, well, he can't read your mind. And as Sean said, if it was roles reversed, we'd be just flaming this guy because it's not on your partner to read your mind. You have to communicate as well. And so Reddit deemed not the asshole. And Nefariousness Fresh 24 said not the asshole. You offered to upgrade it for her and she declined. You reminded her to upgrade before the trip and she declined. And you offered to switch seats with her and she declined. Also, did she ever once mention the idea of downgrading your ticket, if that's even possible? And even if you had, there would have been no guarantee that you'd sit together since you checked in at different counters and different attendants, etc. Your wife is 100% being unreasonable. She brought this on herself and has nobody to blame but herself. So I think that sums it up pretty nicely. And yeah, that's something I didn't think about either is like seating, like wise would just be like, you'd get a random seat. There's no way last minute seat switch. You'd be getting the person beside your wife. So we'll move on to the next one here. Cross posted on our subreddit by Do Midscore Bandicoot, Midscore 7512.
Yeah, hit the go button.
We do a go button for people that cross post frequently.
Got it.
I feel weird when we do it with guests because I'm like, we have to explain this.
Yeah. Just no context, keep it rolling.
us doing terrible goat sound in the background. Anyway, this one is titled, Am I the Asshole for Saying I'm Glad I Have Sons Before Our Trip?
So little context.
It does imply a little bit of you could be sexist.
Yeah.
True.
Sure is given that vibe. But if the first title shows, you know, we could be wildly incorrect. So I don't know. But it sure sounds like you should just be thankful for kids. And maybe that's what you meant to say. But since you have sons, you just said sons. Like if you had daughters, you would have been like, thank God we have daughters. Maybe, hopefully.
Right. You're just thinking it's like maybe a misstep in communicating or something like that.
Let's hope so. That's what I'm hoping for.
Right. I'm trying to think. Cause I have 3 sisters. So like there is kind of the dynamic of like more girls in our family than guys. So like, I know there can be different, how do you put it? Like dynamics that come with like having different gender kids, but yeah, I feel like I just have to like listen to the story more. I can't just like throw a verdict out there. It really just depends on the scenario.
That's fair. All right. So we're going on a family vacation this summer to Europe. It's something we've been saving for and planning for a long time. We're going to visit some places that are meaningful to me as an engineer, like historic sites from the Industrial Revolution, old factories turned into museums, and some modern engineering landmarks. My 2 sons, 12 and 15, are really into it. They've been looking things up, reading ahead, and even watching videos on how early machines worked. The other day, I made a passing comment that I was glad I had sons for this trip because I feel like they might actually want to learn and explore these places. I said something like, if I had daughters, they might just be more interested in taking pictures for Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah, we were wrong. This guy sucks.
Yeah.
This guy sucks ass.
And not really take the time to appreciate what they're seeing. I didn't mean it to be harsh or anything. It just sort of slipped out. Well, my younger son must have been thinking about it and asked my wife later if she was glad she only had sons. She asked him why, and he mentioned what I had said. She got really quiet and later told me that what I said was awful, that I was stereotyping girls and making it seem like they couldn't be curious or care about history or engineering. She said it made her sad that our sons now might think having girls would have been less good somehow. I tried to explain I didn't mean all girls. I know plenty of girls are into tech and history. It was more about what I'd seen on social media and how some teens travel now, more for show than experience. I realized it was a generalization and probably not a fair one, but I really didn't mean anything hateful by it. She's still upset and thinks I've now put this idea in our son's head that girls are shallow and not as capable. I understand why that would bother her, but I also feel like she's overreacting to something that was just a harmless offhanded comment. I didn't say it to insult anyone. I was just excited to share something meaningful with our boys. So am I the asshole here?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think he's more of the asshole because he doesn't think that this isn't going to be a big deal for his sons. Like he's teaching his sons that like, oh, this is the stereotype for women. And that's how, like, what did he say? They were like 14 and 12?
Like 12 and 15. Yeah. Very
12
close.
and 15.
Yeah.
Like they're in their developmental years where they start thinking about girls if that's what they're into. And it's like, or even just interacting with them, becoming a teenager. And if you are telling your kids who you are the person who's like the epitome of where they get all their information from, it's like you're basically just solidifying that like women can't have interests other than taking pretty pictures on social media. Like that's more of a you're the a-hole than just what he said. And his general stereotyping is like
he's now like passing on the misogyny to his kids, basically.
Exactly.
That is true. That is worse.
I totally forgot to ask before this. Am I allowed to cuss? I am.
Oh, absolutely.
Sweet. Perfect. I have such a potty mouth. I was going to be like, yeah, this is a shitty dad. More than anything, you're the a-hole for being a shitty dad.
Yeah. I mean, even when he started the story, and this is just my brain, he was like, yeah, we're going to go see the engineering and blah, blah, blah. I say, yawn. Could not be more uninterested with that stuff.
Where's the beach?
Yeah. Where's the food? You know what I mean? Where the
Agreed.
Yeah, like I understand it. Everybody's into everything. And it's cool when I can imagine as a parent, it's cool to see like your kids be into what you're into.
Right.
But I mean, I feel like there's a 98% chance if there were two daughters, they'd probably also be maybe into what you're into. You know, it's just, that's how you raise your kids. It doesn't matter what gender they are. As long as you're not a shitty parent, which unfortunately, they might turn out to like, you know, be interested in what you're interested in. So it's just, I mean, and we all know it's so clearly not a gender thing. Like, do you know how many male influencers there are, dude? Like, what are you talking about?
All of us here.
Yeah. I mean, like, I could care less, you know, about engineering and history and stuff, but ooh, show me a painting, or ooh, show me some good food. And yeah, I'll love to take a picture and share it on Instagram. And it sucks that your wife was like, yeah, what you said is hurtful. This is the reason why. And then for you to walk away and be like, I think she's overreacting.
Yeah.
No, sir. I think you need to take a look in the mirror, figure out why your wife was mad, and then figure out why it made your son confused and maybe upset enough to ask your mom or your wife about it. You know what I mean? Because if it wasn't a big deal at all, why would he even go to her to ask, be like, I thought this was weird. Is this weird? And she was like, yeah, that's fucked up and weird. And then the dad is still like, nah.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's because he doesn't respect women, so he doesn't respect his wife's opinion.
Ooh, yeah. Solid point.
Yeah.
Unfortunate truth there.
Yeah. This story was crazy for me because as like Sienna, my wife, she studied archaeology in school. And so whenever we go anywhere, it's her giving me a lesson plan on what's happening. And I'm like, oh, this is sick. So for me, it was just insane because it's like, my experience is the complete opposite of what he's claiming to be. So it's just like, yeah, you're making wildly generalized statements that like it's so far from the truth that it's unhinged that he's just doubling down on it and being like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, no, you're also passing this down to your kids which, like you said, Sarbi, and just, pushing the misogyny onto them, which I hope they don't take, because that would be shitty. But yeah, just enjoy the things that you like with your kids and just be happy they're into it, because who knows how long that'll last. You know what I mean?
It's just like, why must you bring down something or the idea of something just to validate how happy you are about what you have? You know what I mean? Just be happy that you have it. There's no reason.
You could easily said, I'm happy my kids are into this. And that would have been completely fine.
It was so unnecessary.
Yeah. All right. Reddit deemed asshole. And we're not done with OP yet, because there are some comments here.
Oh, God. So, did he learn his lesson?
He did not. Spoiler. So, first commenter said, so you're telling your sons that girls are shallow, unintelligent, and unappreciative, and that your own daughters would be like that even though your sons aren't? That's kind of weird. Almost like you're saying you'd be a different parent to girls. Quite the self-own there. You're the asshole. To which OP said, I'm not saying that. I just meant the probability would be less just based on gender differences. They'd like other things and probably be better at some other stuff. Like, my wife is a lot better than me at social events and bringing people together and organizing.
Yeah, because you sound like a real asshole.
I'm sure this guy doesn't have that many friends.
Nothing to do with gender. You're just a piece of shit. Of course, there's still a chance they would be interested. There's no way to know, since there are always exceptions, especially with technical parent to learn from. So really doubling down on he's the technical parent. Commenter 2 said, you do realize that gender differences are caused by sociological factors and aren't inherent to someone based on their sex. To which OP responded, said, it's a mix of factors. Yes. If I had daughters, and having an engineer parent would make them a little more likely they develop these interests compared to daughters who don't. Commenter 2 said, for a scientific-oriented person, you cling to the ideas that have been proven wrong over and over again and refuse to admit that you're wrong. So the commenters were not kind to OP, and rightfully so, I think.
Yeah.
It's always such a bummer whenever OP is commenting, and it's just like, oh, maybe they will see the error of their ways.
Nope.
It's like a 2% chance, really. It's so unfortunate.
It's so rare.
I feel bad for this wife, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is an eye-opening moment for her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, she's got to put in double work now to like make sure her sons don't pick up what their dad's putting down,
Yeah.
Which is just an awful
position
scenario to
put
be in. Yeah.
That's how I get the whole like American politics scene right now, and I guess a lot of world politics. I'm just like, how could you possibly be married to somebody with like different political views?
Yeah.
Or
Totally.
like just different views on women and things like that. I'm just like, oh brother, I get love is love, but that it cannot be like, I mean, just on such completely different pages, I feel like.
Yeah. I just think like the type of with how, at least American politics, I can't speak to Canadian politics for you.
It's very similar, actually.
Is it?
Unfortunately,
Okay.
it's, from what we've heard from Josh, not too far.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I hear one of my mods in my Discord, shout out Gender Ghost. She she lives in Canada, so she kind of fills me in on little things here and there. Yeah, I just think it's like it almost identifying with certain party like categorizes you as a certain human being, and I just can't imagine like I mean very clearly I'm very left leaning. I can't imagine, like, I see girls who I can just look at and be like, you're very right leaning, and I just don't ever see a scenario where we could ever mesh well.
Cross paths and it works out. Yeah.
It bleeds into values and interests, and it's just
how you want to raise your kids. Like this story.
It's just I don't get it.
It's in everything. So.
Are you both married?
Yes.
Yeah.
How long for both of you guys?
8 months.
8 months? Oh, congrats. It's pretty.
Yeah, it was last September. So I'm trying to do the math.
5 years
in November. So like 4.5.
All right, but we got a vet. I'm nowhere near that.
How long you been married?
Me? Oh no, sorry, I'm not married.
Oh, okay.
I'm nowhere near that because I'm not even in the realm. So
you said it like you were, and I was like, oh, okay, nice. Gotcha. Yeah, I should have done more dating stories then, because you could tell us the horrors of dating. I imagine that it is right now.
I mean, knock on wood, I haven't had a
Too many crazy ones?
Not a crazy date necessarily, but I get in some situationships that end poorly, and I'm like, this is like unnecessarily poorly, and I'm just like, okay,
that's too bad. Yeah, we get it in our comments whenever we do a bad date story. Someone's like, "This happened to me," and I'm like, "That's so sorry."
Terrible, terrible. Yeah, if you ever need a single perspective, I'm here.
we got your number.
Is John also married or?
Oh yeah, 10 years I think. Now.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Well, hit me up if you guys ever need a single perspective. It's rough out here.
Yeah. All right, boys. Let's move on to the next one here. Posted by Big Proman on Am I the Asshole? Title for this one is Am I the Asshole for locking the office fridge after someone kept stealing my lunch?
Nah, not the a-hole.
I do wonder what kind of authority you have to lock the entire fridge. I feel like you maybe could just lock your lunchbox. I mean,
but isn't it so much funnier to be like, I have no authority, but I'm going to lock the fridge?
Absolutely.
It is extremely fun.
I should clarify. Only way I'm thinking not the a-hole is if you go to HR, you go to your bosses, and like everyone's just like figure it out yourself, and you're like, fine.
I figured it out.
It's pretty. Yeah. As long as the communication was there beforehand, I'm like, go nuclear, brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or sister, I guess.
You might get fired, but I'm with you. I'm behind you 100%.
It's about the principle here.
Yeah. What an incredible I got fired story. That.
Oh yeah.
Next job interview, that shows initiative. That shows, you know.
You won't just stand by.
Exactly. You make it happen.
I'm willing to put the work in to ensure my lunch doesn't get stolen. Oh, God. All right. So I, 34 male, work in a small office with about 10 people. We share a communal kitchen, including one fridge. Over the past month, my lunch has been stolen 5 times.
That's crazy.
It's insane. Not just random snacks, entire homemade meals I bring from home, gone without a trace. It's not just frustrating, it's expensive and messes up my day. I mentioned it a couple times in the group chat, like, hey, someone's been taking my lunches, please stop. Everyone either ignores it or sent a vague message like, ugh, that sucks, or some people are the worst. But no one took responsibility.
I feel like 10 is enough for you. You can go up to everybody's desk and like, LA New Orleans.
So I brought a mini fridge and put it under my desk. Nothing fancy, just enough to hold my meal and a drink.
It still got stolen from there is crazy.
That's what someone has a vendetta.
I also put a little lock on it just for extra peace of mind. So no, it didn't get stolen from the mini fridge. Since then, no more lunch stolen. Well, last Friday, one of my coworkers, I'll call her Dana, 29 female, confronted me during lunch and said it was weird and selfish that I had a personal fridge.
Dude, it was fucking Dana.
It was Dana. It has to be Dana. Because literally, why else would anybody even notice?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
She said it made me look paranoid and like I'm not part of the team. I said I was tired of my food being stolen and this was the only solution that worked. She said I should have just brought stuff I wouldn't care about losing, like snacks or microwave meals.
It's fucking Dana. This is crazy.
A couple of others have now made little comments like, don't let him see your lunch. He might lock it up, or we get it. You're special. And I'm starting to feel like the weirdo in the office just for protecting my stuff. So am I the asshole for locking up my lunch instead of letting this keep happening?
Start eating everybody's fucking lunch. I'm sick of this shit, bro. I'm fucking sick. At one comment, you're like, all right, best believe I've memorized your goddamn lunchbox.
Yeah.
I'm coming for it tomorrow.
I'm eating it all.
Dana, watch your fucking days, bro. Count your days.
I'm betting the house on Dana. Dana's the culprit.
100%.
If not all of them. Like if all of them are sitting there like, oh, bro, you're weird for this. It's like, I hear my coworkers getting their shit stolen. I'm like, we should figure this out. Because I don't.
Because it could be me next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't want that shit.
Also, it's like 5 times in a month. That's 25% of the time your lunch is getting stolen.
That's crazy.
I mean, in a work week too?
Yeah.
It's a whole work week.
Brother,
literally 1 week of your month is your food's
gone.
That's insane. Oh my God. I do love how Sarby at the beginning of this was like, yeah, full revenge, lock the fridge. And Sean was like, well, hold on. And then at the end, he was like, eat all their lunches.
No, yeah, fuck that. If I'm getting little fucking comments from people, like I didn't message the entire team's channel, be like, yo, someone's fucking stealing my lunch. And not one of you did anything or cared in the slightest. So yeah, fuck that.
I mean, the important part too is it wasn't the communal fridge like we all thought. It was like
personal.
He came up with a creative solution. He was like, "This is my fridge where I'm going to put my lunch, and I'm going to lock it for double safety." Like, for all intents and purposes, it's like, who cares? Like, nobody should care, and the fact that they care is even more sus. That all of them care.
I'm putting a camera in my thing and unlocking it. And then I'm fucking posting it to the team's channel. I said, look, bitch, caught Dana in the goddamn act.
It's Dana just opening the fridge. I think she's offering your meals up. She's taking it and then giving it out to everyone.
I don't know why anyone would make comments about it.
No.
I don't know if I would even notice if any of my coworkers had like a fridge under their desk.
No, me neither.
I don't think I would either.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't have that much investment in it.
Yeah, I could not care enough, to be honest.
I'd be like, that's cool. I want one too. You know?
Yeah, I might do
office ones.
I might write it as like y'all have to pay for this. Y'all, we're not dealing with the office theft.
Yeah. Reddit agreed and said not the asshole. And Blue Being 22 said the person who is not part of the team is the one who's stealing the lunches. You're not paranoid. There is actually a thief in your mix. That's a fact. You just took care of the problem is all, and everyone who has a comment can suck it, which is essentially what Sean said with a few more colorful words in there. But
this reminds me of like when I brought my own coffee maker to an office one time. I was like, this
Did you ever get it back?
Shit. No, I mean, I kept it at my desk.
Oh, I see.
And then if people wanted coffee, I'd make them coffee or whatever. But I was just like, yeah. People would make a little comment here and there, and then they started getting the coffee, and I was like, yeah, you see the difference? Okay. Let's not talk shit to me.
And no, they'll talk shit about it until they need it. I drive a minivan. Every one of my friends, they clown me for the minivan until we need a group of 8 people driven somewhere. And then the minivan's cool.
All of a sudden.
All right, moving on to the next one here. This one's got an update with it. And it's posted by Go Inevitable 1269. The title is, Am I the Asshole for Not Taking Down an X-Rated Book when my ex's girlfriend asked me to?
Wait, can you read that one more time?
Yeah. There's a lot of X's in there. So, am I the asshole for not taking down an X-rated book when my ex's girlfriend asked me to?
You just got it on display.
Wait, but your ex's girlfriend?
Yes.
Why the fuck would they have a say?
Yeah.
And I'm like, where is she taking this down from? Is it like plastered in a kid's school? Probably not good. Is it just like on her bookshelf and for some reason the ex be over there with their girlfriend all the time?
Right. It is confusing.
Yeah, why would they see it enough times to feel like they have the right to be like, unless, like you said, it's in a very
prominent
family-oriented place. You know
Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry, my ADHD go burr. What's the name of your cat?
Oh, that's Artie.
Artie's so cute. I'm so sorry. I also have a cat. He would be all over the desk right now if he was in here. Love it. Sorry. Super ADHD. Keep going.
3 cat dads in a pod.
Oh yeah.
The cats have their own fan bases.
Yeah.
So Beans, I'm convinced my audience loves my cat more than me. They're like, I'll get comments. Honestly. They're like, came for the story, stayed for Beans. And I'm like, oh, what about me?
They're like, yeah, you're all right.
Beans is a great name.
That is a great name.
Shout out the Humane Society. That was his name, and my siblings call me Bean. So I was like, I wanted to name my cat Spinch. Have you ever seen that meme where like the Subway labels the food wrong? And like one of them was Spinch. I just thought that was so funny. I was like
spinach.
Yeah. I thought it was so funny. I was like, I'm gonna get a cat named Spinch. And then Beans was there, and I was like, that's a pretty good name.
That's a great name. Yeah.
Get another cat eventually and name that one Spinch.
Yeah. Then you have Spinch and Beans.
That's pretty good.
Spinch and Beans. It flows.
All right. So last year, 24 female wrote an exotic novel to make some money on the side. It ended up picking up traction and makes a fair amount of money in sales every month. You're connecting the dots.
I'm connecting the dots. Yeah. Okay. So it's not like a physical book. It's online.
Yeah.
And also she wrote it.
Yes.
That both of those things change everything.
Also, I was thinking X-rated, like as in like a picture book. You know what I mean? And this is words. So I feel like
it's a novel.
Even if it was in front of kids, you know, they wouldn't know unless they dug into it, I guess.
And then they're interested in reading. It's like, can you stop them then? I don't know.
Is it that bad if they know about a throbbing?
Wait, actually, super random funny shit that happened to my buddy's girlfriend who's a teacher. You know, like how they do competitions for like kids to like read books or whatever.
Battle of the books.
Yeah. There was this kid who was going through his parents' books on their shelf and just writing like, I read this book. And then they went and looked it up and it was just like hella romance smut books. So they're like, and she teaches, I think like second graders or something, like something crazy young where you should not be reading that. So they had to like call in the parents and the parents are like, oh, no. He didn't read that. He was just capping. Like,
yeah, he's lying.
I wonder even if a second grader read that, if they would understand
they could comprehend
what is happening.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think I would. I'd just be like, what are all these words I don't know?
Yeah. And then I'd go teach it to all my friends on the playground.
I mean, kids nowadays have Google. I feel like that would be crazy just to be like, just
That's
that
true.
Google, what's it called? Oh my God, I'm blanking on it. But you go down like you're just searching words.
Rabbit hole?
Yeah, rabbit hole. Thank you. That would be the worst way to find out about sex.
That's true. I am thinking back in the early 2000s when I would have been like, I don't know what this means. Just moved on.
It reminds me when I was a senior in high school, somebody asked me if I was circumcised or not, and I honestly had no clue. I was like, I guess I have to Google it, and I Googled it. I said, oh, all right, I guess we have our answer.
Did you Google? Did you Google, am I circumcised?
No, I just Googled uncircumcised penis, and I was like, oh. All right. Makes sense. Now I understand what you mean by hood. I get 18 years old.
No, the way I figured out about it was I played hockey and, you know, I think by the time I was like 14, 15, I was like showering with all the dudes. Yeah. And one of them wasn't circumcised. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know
what there were options on this.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that there was, I didn't know that like that was how I learned about it.
That's the state of sex education in America.
Oh yeah, dude. 100%. I didn't even get a sex ed class.
Neither did Sean, yeah.
Oh, dude, it's brutal, man. Was it good in Canada, Josh?
Good is a bar I don't know if I want to say.
But it existed.
It existed. So
yeah. Okay.
We'll go with that. We had to do it, but the bar's so low that I'm like, is it good or is it just acceptable? You know what I mean?
I feel like if they don't bring religion into it, it's at least somewhat decent. But I got the Catholic sex talk, so from my mom, and it was very bare minimum. Like,
I feel like you and Sean had a similar life.
Honestly, Catholic upbringing. It's making a lot of sense.
Brutal.
Okay, I'm just going to take this from the top again because I think we lost it very early on. But so last year, 24 female, wrote an exotic novel to make some money on the side. It ended up picking up some traction and makes a fair amount of money in sales every month. I'm not living off the income, but it helps pay some bills every month while I'm getting my master's. A lot of the book was inspired by my boyfriend at the time. He knew I was writing it, and it was often a joke between us that he had to give me more to write about, quote unquote. He read the book before I self-published it and gave it his seal of approval. And I wouldn't have published it if he had been uncomfortable with it. The character doesn't resemble him in personality or appearance, and there are no hints that would give away who my inspiration was. I also wrote it under a fake name too, so it's unlikely to be traced back to him at all. We broke up 6 months ago, but we keep in touch. We've been friends for a while, and the split was mutual, so there was no hard feelings. I knew that he had started seeing someone over the summer, and I guess he told her about the book because she approached me at the library yesterday and asked me to take the book down. She said it makes her uncomfortable knowing that people can read details about our sex life. I asked her if my ex was uncomfortable with it, and she said he was. I told her I would take it down then. That night, I texted my ex and told him I was sorry the book made him uncomfortable and that I would take it down as soon as I could. He had no idea what I was talking about. He said it didn't make him uncomfortable and that I didn't need to take it down. He then cracked some jokes about how he was glad I was still profiting from his hard work, which is insane to make.
Attaboy. Making his girl nut. We love it.
When I told him his new girlfriend had approached me, he said that she did think it was weird, but it wasn't her call. Today I was eating lunch and the girl came up to me again. She started saying that I was being disrespectful for going behind her back and talking to her boyfriend. Side note, I talk to my ex semi-frequently anyway. And that she was disgusted that I even published the book. She also said that it was gross that I was involving other people in my exhibitionist kink unwillingly.
Oh.
I let her talk for a bit and then told her she was overreacting. I said I did it to make money, not because I derived pleasure from it, and that the book's publication is between me and my ex. It doesn't involve her. She called me a bitch and stormed off. I know it's kind of weird to have a book out there with details about me and my ex's sex life, but I don't really want her to take it down. I don't really want to take it down because it's a good source of income. So am I the asshole?
The way I'd be writing the sequel as she's talking to me. This is wild.
Yeah.
What would you title it?
I don't know.
Fuck you, name of the girl. No. Sorry, that would be so mean, but I think that'd be hilarious.
So funny.
Make that the antagonist of the book.
I was gonna.
It's like the Footloose police, but for sex.
Yeah. I was gonna title it like "Sex with an X" or something like that.
Oh,
but
that's why you're the title guy.
sometimes. But yeah, so you guys are going not the asshole with this one.
Yeah.
No, because she was even like, yeah, if he's truly uncomfortable, I'll take it down because like it's between us.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, no, I don't care. In fact, I love that people love how good I am. It's incredible.
It's a bestseller, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think like if the guy had a problem with it, I think it would kind of start like bleeding into consent type issues.
Yeah.
But
Close
since
to
he
revenge
was
porn or something like that.
Yeah. And like even if it's in writing, you know, and it's not like she was doxing him either. I think that's really important as well. Like there was no information to tie it back to him. I think this is probably the, you know what I was thinking? I was trying to think if there's a verdict to be had around this, but I think it is a little, maybe not weird, but a little disrespectful to OP's ex's new girlfriend.
Okay.
That they talk a lot.
Well, I don't know. It sounds like they were friends.
Yeah, totally.
And so I get if she has some sort of, that upsets her, that's something she should take up with her boyfriend and not the ex.
Not put it on.
Absolutely.
So
don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
That's
So
a good point.
if that's a boundary she feels uncomfortable with, like being that close with an ex, it's like, yeah, that's something you talk about with your partner, not accusing me of
A stranger.
yeah,
Totally.
of anything or coming to me. So I understand that part, but I still think even if that is her, issue, she's going about it the completely wrong way.
For sure. Just based off what she said about like OP going around like behind her back or around her, I think I was just getting like a heavy vibe that like I don't even know if the story is the real issue. I bet maybe the real issue is that like they still talk. Cause like I'm trying to think you guys can weigh in too, but if like my partner was talking to their ex a lot, I feel like there'd have to be some sort of conversation around it because it's like, hey, I understand that you guys are friends, but like you guys have history. And just because of that, I think there's like a little bit of not complete no contact, but a little bit of like diminishing how much you're talking. But she's like, we talk like every month, which is a little weird to me. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair. Yeah. And, the joke he made definitely was probably over the line for me, for sure.
Agreed.
It's like, well, I don't know if you should be joking about your sex life with your ex. That may be, and that's a boundary for other people that might not exist. But yeah, I do agree to some degree that I think some of this is definitely crossing a line. But again, I don't think that's on OP. That's on them to figure out. And
Absolutely. Good clarification.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, she's like, I can't believe you went behind my back when I went behind his back and talked to you about
That's
this.
true too.
Is a little wild.
That's a good
on
point.
her part.
That's fair.
Because, like, yeah, Opie is kind of just like, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know you. I know him. I asked him. And if he was like, yeah, then I would take it down.
Right.
And this really sounds like something that you need to talk to him about. And then, if he's, I mean, don't put me in your business. Just let me know when y'all come to a consensus.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I did say there was an update, and we'll hop right into it.
Did they link the book? We should read that next.
Yeah, I want to read the book, low key.
Yeah, how bad is it?
Yeah, I want to know. Okay, so update. Shortly after I made the post, I got on Amazon to look at my book and noticed I'd gotten an influx of bad reviews. I checked the reviews and found some buzzwords that my ex's girlfriend had used. Thankfully, I'm fairly certain I can get these removed. I'm also concerned because Amazon takes a few days to process reviews, so I don't know how many more of these will be coming my way. I decided to call my ex and let him know what was happening. I told him about his girlfriend confronting me, calling me a bitch, how she initially lied to me about his feelings, and now the bad reviews. And he was floored. I don't think he'd seen that side of her personality. My ex is all around a great guy, and he was very apologetic. He said he would talk to her about it. He said he didn't tell her the name of the book, but he did have it on his Kindle, so she must have snooped and found it. This morning, I was getting a coffee in the student center, and the girl walked up to me and started screaming at me. Apparently, she and my ex broke up and she blamed it on me. I didn't know what to do, so I just walked off to my car. She started calling me a slut and a whore and a pervert. And in brackets, there was nothing that bad in the book, especially if you like erotica already. She followed me around out of the building, but thankfully stopped chasing me once I hit the parking lot. I was shaking and called my ex again. He ended up coming to sit with me in my car until I calmed down. We considered calling the campus police, but I didn't want to explain to them, so he walked me back inside. She was there, but when she saw me with my ex, she didn't yell. She just burst into tears and said she knew he was cheating. He told her to leave me alone. He hadn't been cheating, which was factual. With me, anyway. I think that's what they meant. And that he broke up with her because she was too jealous and immature. She seemed flummoxed and left. Ex bought me a coffee, and we discussed filing a police report if she approaches me again. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I hope. Definitely feels like sequel material, although I'm a bit lacking in the physical inspiration part these days.
It sure seems like your original inspiration is free currently.
Third update. We got back together.
We're keeping it on a strictly creative process this time. No emotion.
We're just hooking up, actually. It's
more book material.
Yeah, it's for the research.
Yeah, it's research.
My recommendation on that update is I think you should file a police report.
Yeah.
Because there's no way, I mean, okay, unless they're on an incredibly small campus, but even then it's very unlikely for this person to run into you 3 separate times.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit, she might have been stalking a little bit there.
And I don't think it's going to stop. You know what I mean? No. I feel it's going to, like, she blames you 100%.
If only it's intensified by the fact of actually seeing y'all two together.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm with you there. I think that's not a bad idea. Just to even have it so that if anything happens, you've already got a file and it's easier to report. Hopefully.
Yeah.
God, I wish they listed the title. Would love
me too. Oh, it's on Amazon. Like,
just look for the worst reviewed book on Amazon.
I'm sure you could look in the comments of that post and like search like book or whatever, and some person was like, I think it's this one on Amazon, you know?
That's true. I hesitate to even look and try and dox this person because I don't want them to.
No, they don't want to.
If you find it, don't comment it, but you know, you can check it out. Book sales. That's true.
The book sales.
That's true. All right, let's move on to the last story before we hit the Patreon side of things. This one was cross-posted on our subreddit by I'm Just a Bunny, and the title is, Am I the asshole for giving a former coworker a bad reference?
On purpose? I mean, if you really hate that coworker, I guess.
But why would they ask for a reference?
Yeah, I almost want to say yeah. You know, because you could have just, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you could have just been like, nah, bro, I can't give you a good reference under good conscience, you know?
Right,
unless this coworker is just like the devil. and they deserve to be fucked with, but it was just, I guess it just depends on severity.
If it was Dana, we'd
True.
Be,
you know what? Fuck Dana.
Fuck Dana.
She fucking steals lunches all goddamn day. And then gaslights me into thinking I'm the weird one.
Yeah.
So if it's Dana, then not the a-hole. All right. So I, 32 male, work as a senior dev at a small tech company. A few months ago, we hired an engineer named Marissa. I worked with her during the first 2 weeks. She seemed smart and motivated, went beyond her tasks, cleaned up some inefficient logic, and removed busy polling that improved performance, whatever all that meant. It left a good impression, but I assumed she was trying to stand out as a new hire. After that, she joined a new team. A few weeks later, she was gone. No warning, no goodbye. Management just said she was no longer with the company. With all the recent layoffs and reorgs, we didn't question it. A while later, Marissa messaged me on LinkedIn. She had a job offer and needed a reference. I was surprised, but I said yes. We'd worked together briefly and it had gone well. At lunch a few days later, I brought it up and asked the team what kind of stuff was useful in a reference. I mentioned her earlier performance work, and then that's when Chris, our lead tech, cut in. Chris and I are close. We hang outside of work. Our families know each other, and we're two of the few people who left to understand all the core systems post-layoffs. He's well-respected and pretty much indispensable. Chris said, I wouldn't help her out. She tried to take me down on her way out. The table got quiet, and he said she filed an HR complaint accusing him of sexism after a disagreement about system architecture. HR investigated it and sided with them, saying she had overstepped as a junior engineer without the experience to try and challenge those decisions. Then he told me something I hadn't heard before, that Marissa had said those things about me too, that I was complacent, not technically deep, and just skating on seniority. He said that she told that to others behind my back. I was caught off guard. Our only project had gone well, and she was friendly to my face after, but I figured maybe she changed. Chris also said she walked in like she was smarter than everyone because she'd come from a fancy school and had done some academic research. He said she didn't take feedback well and made the team dynamic worse. He told me, just be honest if they ask you. I trust Chris. He mentors a lot of people. HR backed him. And if she really did talk about me like that, then I didn't feel any obligation. So when the reference check came, I gave a negative review. I said she wasn't great at collaborating and needed more guidance than expected. I didn't lie, but I didn't go out of my way to help. A few days later, Marissa called me, and she was furious. She said I'd ruined her only chance, and now she had 10 days to find another job or she'd have to leave the country. I didn't know that she was on an H-1B visa. She said she came from Belarus as an international student and had built her life here. I didn't mean to hurt her. I thought I was doing the right thing based on what I knew and didn't know the immigration situation. So am I the asshole?
Yeah, I think I agree with Sarby here. You could have just
said no,
right?
I also 100% believe Chris is a sexist piece of shit.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Because you just took one dude's word over, your own experience.
Yeah.
Listen, and this is me being like stereotyping, and like my audience knows I'm a little bit of like a man hater, but like STEM dudes hate it when there's a smart woman in the room.
Yeah.
Just, I hope that, are either you guys STEM dudes?
No, I worked in like coding field though. And
okay.
it is true. Like it is just a fact. Like, there are a lot of men who just will look down on women coders because of the fact that they are women.
Just because HR sides with you does not mean that you were in the right.
Well, he just gave a clear reason as why he's irreplaceable basically. So yeah, fucking HR is going to side with you because they don't want to replace you. You know what I mean? They don't want to do more work. So they're just going to fire the new hire because that's easier.
Yep. And as long as there's nothing that they feel is dangerous to the company, not even to the individuals, they don't care. They don't care who's right.
No,
it's not about who's right. It's about, like you said, this guy's irreplaceable. So whatever it takes to not fire him unless he's done something absolutely heinous,
we're going to do that. Yeah.
I feel like OP's the asshole. He could have easily just been like, hey, I can't be your reference. They even if they reached out to him, he could be like, hey, I didn't answer, like tell them to call like a different reference.
Yeah, exactly. That like would be fine. Like he would be completely out of the woods there, and he would be safe of not being in the asshole. But the fact that he still took the call and was like, no, I'm going to give her a negative review based on what fucking Chris said and not my own experience of working with her and having a good experience. It's like, yeah, you're an asshole. Like you just blindly took Chris's secondhand gossip and turned that into fact when she had a reference call, and now she's going to be fucking deported. You're an asshole.
Yeah.
I feel like at the very least you could have just called Marissa and be like, find another reference because I heard this about you. And then she could at least state her case and be like, I know you're friends with Chris, but he's actually a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he's lying.
Yeah, actually none of that happened. This is what actually happened. Or, at least then you could go off based on knowledge from both of them and been like, okay, I don't feel comfortable like giving you a reference. but I wish you luck or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you guys know about HR. I know nothing about HR, but maybe your audience in the comments can let us know. Like, when you get met, to me, because they were saying like, oh, Chris was saying that OP, like Marissa had talked bad about OP, but I feel like if he had,
that would be part of the HR report,
and HR would rope him in. So like, to me, it's a little fishy that he's throwing out, oh, she was talking smack about you too, because I think if they were, like, HR would have, or if she had, HR would have roped him in on that. So
yeah, well, I think that's probably true. John's our HR expert. He's done that.
He used to work.
Yeah,
in
he
HR.
used to work in HR. So unfortunately, he's not here. So we'll just have to speculate. But I believe, yeah, if he hadn't been pulled in on it, you think he would have got some sort of notification like, hey, this is an HR report going through, like, your name's on it. Or I would imagine, right? Again, let us know in the comments if we're off here. And they could have just swept this under the rug too. That's another option. that happens as well. So Reddit agreed and said asshole. And a commenter said, I have to go with you're the asshole here. The reference should have been objective and based on your experience with her, not what you'd heard through the grapevine, which is ultimately what it comes down to. If you're uncomfortable, just don't do it, or give your objective like view of who she is as a worker, not something you heard secondhand. All right. That is it for this episode, Wikimaniacs. Click like, click subscribe. But before you go, Sarby, let the Wikimaniacs know where they can find you.
Oh, yeah. I'm on YouTube and Spotify. If you search Sarby on either of those, SARBY, you'll find me. If you'd like to join I live stream my reads. So
Hell yeah.
It just gives... Honestly, like, because I'm by myself, it's not just like me in an echo chamber. It gives the opportunity for like you as the audience to get involved in that, and then I'll read what you say, and like we'll bounce ideas off of each other. Sometimes disagree with each other, but it's all fun, and it's all just to like educate ourselves more. And me and my chat have a great time. That is on Twitch or YouTube. My Twitch is by Sarby, BYSARBY.
Hell yeah. And we appreciate you coming on. I will say we did try to do solo podcasts at one point for like bonus content, and that was just terrible.
It's hard.
I don't know how you do it.
More power to you, brother.
Having the chat there, like if you guys want to give it a go, I say go live and use your audience, because like it's honestly easier too when you have one person talking to chat.
Yeah.
Because then it's like when there's I've had other people, not necessarily on a reading Reddit video, but I've streamed with other people, and it's really hard to like engage with this human being and talk to chat.
Yeah.
One or the other gets ignored at some point.
For sure.
So yeah, I definitely give it a go. I mean, your guys' YouTube channel is big enough to where like you guys could have a couple hundred people in there.
Yeah, we do Wednesday live streams usually, on occasion. So we do like half public and then half behind the paywall. So we do have that, and I like it is fun to do, interact with the community a bit more. So so we'll link all Sarby's stuff down in the description. So go check him out. We appreciate you coming on, buddy, and giving your takes. We'll definitely have to do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
That is it. Thank you, Wikimaniacs, for another amazing episode. We'll see you on Monday. Bye.
Later.
I don't know how to read. It's